Hello, and welcome to the Torah Outreach Program, Erev Shabbos Verse of Inspiration. Today's Verse of Inspiration is sponsored by Dr. Rafal Yicheli, Le'iloi Nishmas, and in memory of Rabbi Moshe Hauer. This week's Parsha, Parshas Noach, second Parsha of the Torah. Right at the beginning of the Parsha, we introduce Noach. And the way he's introduced, it's actually very perplexing. Noach ish tzadik tamim haya bidorosa. Noach was a completely righteous person in his generation. What does that mean, in his generation? So Rashi, the great commentary, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, he says there are two opinions. Bidorosa means, had he been in the generation of Abraham, he would have been even greater, because he would have other people to inspire him. He was only that level of a tzaddik because he had nobody to inspire him. The other opinion is, no. He's considered tzaddik tamim, a complete, perfect tzaddik, a righteous man, a completely righteous man, because compared to everybody else in his generation, that's all there was. And had he been in the generation of Abraham, he'd be looked at as a nothing. That's a very perplexing statement, because since when do we compare ourselves to other people? A person is supposed to strive to be the best he or she can be, not to be better than everybody else, to do their best, to go beyond their comfort zone, become more spiritual, as spiritual as they can be. So since when are we comparing to Abraham? I heard an answer to this question, believe it or not, from a 13-year-old boy. When he spoke at his bar mitzvah last year, this week's Parsha, he said something that stuck in my head. Like, it was so profound, I couldn't wait to talk about it the following year. And here we are. So we're reading Rashi wrong, he said. Had he been in the reason he was a perfect tzaddik is because in his generation, where there was no one else to inspire him, and everyone else was doing such horrible, degrading, immoral things, and he rose above it. That made him such a great tzaddik, made him such a righteous person. But had he been in the generation of Avram, where he would have other people to inspire him, he wouldn't be considered for so much, because it's not such a great test. The opposite of the way we were looking at it before. In other words, his greatness was judged by how he himself overcame his own personal tests, and how he became the greatest he could be in the environment that he was in. Because had he been in the environment of Abraham, the test wouldn't be so great, and he wouldn't be considered for so much. Incredible. It reminds me of a couple of things. One, an idea that was stated by Rabbi Yisroel Bodkins, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the first Satmar Rebbe, when he said, a Jew in America, and this is back in the 60s, a Jew in America is exposed to more things that he shouldn't be every day when he walks out of his front door on his way to work than a Jew in Europe was exposed to his entire life. The tests, the ability to get things that we shouldn't have, to see things that we shouldn't look at, to talk about things and to communicate in ways that we shouldn't be. So much greater today. And if we're able to withstand that test, how much greater are we than our forefathers who didn't have these tests? I also heard a story of a dream that somebody had. I wish I could get back, find out who was it that had this dream, but the lesson too. The dream that somebody had, that there was this old man sleeping, and the great rabbis of the previous generation tried to wake him up, and no one could do it. So then the greatest of our generation tried to wake him up, and couldn't do it. And then a kid with an iPhone in one hand and a laptop in the other, and the earphones on his ears, the hat on backwards, the whole get-up, walks over to him and taps him on the shoulder, and he wakes up. What does that dream mean? That the greats of previous generations did not have the schus, the merit, to bring Mashiach. Even the greats of our generation don't have that merit. Who has that merit? The ones who have to put up with and rise above all the tests, all the issues, all the things that that are so available to us in today's generation. With a push of a button, the whole world is open to us, for bad and for good. It's so easy today. If we can only rise above that, that's our test. A test that previous generations didn't have. So in some ways, even though we say there's an idea of hiskat nodoros, the generations have gotten weaker as the years go by. Our abilities to learn Torah and our abilities to reach levels of purity and holiness have weakened over the centuries. But in some ways, they've gotten stronger. Because we, who have to overcome these tests that our ancestors didn't have, we will be the generation finally bring Mashiach.